Heyo, welcome to Storycraft Studio. Today, we're drawing on the first page of my new sketchbook. As I've mentioned before, I use this and the last page to mark my growth as an artist. And this girl is done in the same style as my mermaid fashion illustrations back in May, which is when I drew this. This has taken a while to get here, but let's not focus on that. So this is not just a fashion design, this is a character. Her name is Dr. Arya Smythe, but everyone just calls her Arya. She's a marine engineer and the lead of a short story I've written that I'd like to someday expand into a full book. Arya has probably the coolest job on the face of the planet. She works on the Thetis, the first deep-sea long-term research lab. It's basically a space station underwater. There are several teams that specialize in different fields or mix that work on the Thetis and work in 3-month rotations. Her team is made primarily of marine biologists, except for her. The lab is suspended in the abyssal zone, which is below the midnight zone is, as the name suggests, the abyss. The lab itself is loaded with sensors and cameras to track anything that goes on around it, but also has too many subs that each hold 3 crew members and are used for repairs, scouting, and research. They have several full labs for various things: living quarters, a cozy common area, engine, computer, and electronics rooms, and a command deck. This is not a small thing. There are naval submarines smaller than this lab, but it's all in aid of some really intense science. And on a smart sidebar, a study of how humans react to long-term exposure to that kind of environment. You know, a pressurized vessel in the bottom of the ocean. There's been no problems yet, and won't be, because this is fiction, and if they get sick and have to leave the setting, the story is over. And that would be bad. So as you may have guessed, this kind of project needs a lot of money. The foundation that runs the Thetis, which I can't seem to come up with a name for, gets lots of international funding. However, this whole project is run by scientists for the sake of science, and governments are not always into that. They want results, and science is not results, really. It's study. So, to further support themselves, the foundation has an outreach program where they conduct live interviews from the Thetis. Then they connect with classrooms and schools around the world and have students ask questions. This is a big part of Arya's specifically job. As a marine engineer, it's her primary job to keep all the equipment running, but also run the interviews. Arya is in her mid-20s, while most of the other scientists that work on the Thetis are in their late 30s, early 60s, and the reason she was given a chance over some other, probably more qualified candidates, is because of her interview skills. She's approachable, pretty, smart, and has a knack for breaking complex concepts down into a way even a novice can understand, even outside her field. She's the ideal face for the project and has been a big help in establishing the school interviews as a great thing for schools to take part in. In the short story, she's actually conducting an interview when the big plot happens. The story itself is still under construction due to the fact that the opening sucks. I have a really hard time opening a story. Where do I start? How do I start? How many characters do I introduce at once? And how many can I get away with? It's usually not very many. Sometimes I just start writing and it works. But usually if I don't have much planned already, then it often fails, like this time. I'm working on this one, trying to get it right, even still, and when I do, I'll tell you where to find it. Oh, and the story is called Seadogs. Why, you may ask? Well, you'll have to wait when it's out to find out. And here's Arya in her very much non-regulation clothes. But who's going to bust her at the bottom of the ocean? Seriously. Thanks for watching and listening. Be sure to like and subscribe, maybe leave a comment and tell me what you think. And check me out on Instagram at Storycraft Studio. See you guys again soon. Aloha!